Hello, and welcome back to the Well-Read Monocle. Today, we are opening the pages of Peter Straub's modern horror classic, Ghost Story. First published in 1979, this novel is widely regarded as one of the finest ghost stories of the 20th century. It is a complex, atmospheric tale about memory, guilt, and the past returning to haunt the present. Set in the fictional town of Milburn, New York, the story follows a group of elderly men who call themselves the Chowder Society. As they gather to tell ghost stories to one another, they slowly realize that they are living in one. In this video, we will explore the entire narrative of Ghost Story, from its chilling prologue to its dramatic conclusion. So, settle in as we uncover the secrets of Milburn and the entities that haunt it. Part 1. The Chowder Society. The story begins in Milburn, New York, a quiet, snow-covered town. The central characters are four elderly friends who form the Chowder Society. Ricky Hawthorne, a lawyer, Sears James, his law partner, Benedikt, a wealthy man with a tragic past, and Dr. John Jaffrey, the town's physician. They meet regularly to drink whiskey, smoke cigars, and tell each other ghost stories. However, their gatherings have taken on a darker tone following the recent death of a fifth member, Edward Wanderley. Since Edward's death at a party hosted by Dr. Jaffrey exactly 1 year prior, all four men have been suffering from terrible nightmares involving their own deaths. The narrative reveals that these men share a dark secret from their youth. In 1929, when they were young men, they became infatuated with a beautiful and mysterious woman named Eva Galli. Eva was engaged to a local man named Stringer Dedham, but she maintained a flirtatious friendship with the group. After Stringer died in a gruesome accident involving a threshing machine, Eva's behavior became erratic and provocative. One night, she visited the young men at Edward Wanderley's apartment. In a scene charged with tension and confusion, Eva began to undress and mock them. When she made sexual advances towards the youngest of them, Benedikt, a struggle ensued. In the chaos, Eva fell and struck her head on the fireplace, apparently dying instantly. Terrified of the scandal and legal repercussions, the young men decided to hide the body. They placed Eva in a car and pushed it into a deep pond to make her disappearance look like she had simply left town. As the car sank, however, they thought they saw movement in the back seat, a glimpse of Eva, alive and staring back at them. Shortly after, they saw a lynx near the pond, an animal not native to the area. This event has haunted them for 50 years, binding them together in guilt and silence. Now, in the present, strange events begin to plague Milburn. Animals are found slaughtered in the fields, drained of blood. A local insurance agent named Freddie Robinson dies under mysterious circumstances. Sightings of a strange woman and two peculiar feral-looking figures, a man and a young boy, begin to occur around town. The Chowder Society decides to reach out for help. They contact Edward Wanderley's nephew, Don Wanderley, a writer who has published a horror novel based on his own traumatic experiences. Don arrives in Milburn, bringing with him his own haunted past. He reveals that he was once engaged to a woman named Alma Mobley, who vanished after his brother David died in a mysterious fall in Amsterdam. Don suspects that Alma Mobley and the entity haunting Milburn are connected. Part 2. The Haunting of Milburn. As winter deepens, Milburn becomes isolated by heavy snowstorms. The supernatural presence in the town grows stronger. It is revealed that the entity the men fear is a shapeshifter, an ancient, malevolent force that has appeared throughout history in various forms. This entity was Eva Galli in 1929. It was Alma Mobley when Don knew her, and it has now returned to Milburn under the guise of a woman named Anna Mostyn. Anna Mostyn takes a job as a secretary for Sears and Ricky, inserting herself directly into their lives. Alongside her are two accomplices, Gregory and Fenny Bate. These are the feral figures seen around town. They are undead creatures, formerly humans who have been corrupted and enslaved by the shapeshifter. Gregory and Fenny serve Anna, carrying out acts of violence and terror. The attacks on the Chowder Society escalate. Dr. John Jaffrey is the first to fall. Tormented by visions and the voice of the woman he once loved, he is lured to a bridge and jumps to his death. His housekeeper, Millie Sheehan, is left traumatized by visions of him returning to the house. Benedikt is next. He encounters the entity in the woods while hunting. He follows a vision of his dead wife into a thicket of trees, only to be brutally killed by the creature. Meanwhile, a local teenager named Peter Barnes becomes entangled in the horror. Peter is a sensitive, intelligent boy who begins to see the entities for what they are. His mother, Christina, is attacked and seemingly killed by Gregory Bate, though her body later disappears from the local jail, animated by the dark forces overtaking the town. Peter joins forces with Don Wanderley and the surviving members of the Chowder Society, Ricky Hawthorne and Sears James. The town of Milburn begins to collapse under the psychological and physical siege. The weather becomes unnaturally severe, trapping the residents. Madness spreads among the townsfolk. People turn on one another, and suicides and violent outbursts become common. The entity, Anna Mostyn, feeds on this fear and chaos. Part 3. The final confrontation. The surviving group, Don, Ricky, Sears, and Peter, realizes they must destroy the entity to save themselves and the town. They deduce that the creature and its minions are inhabiting the abandoned house where Eva Galli once lived, which has been bought by Anna Mostyn. They arm themselves and enter the house, but they find it empty. However, the psychological assault continues. Sears James, separated from the group, attempts to flee the town in his car, but crashes in the snow. Trapped in the vehicle, he is attacked and killed by Gregory and Fenny Bate. Ricky, Don, and Peter are now the only ones left to fight. They realize that the creatures have taken refuge in the local cinema, the Rialto, owned by Clark Mulligan. They make their way to the theater, which is dark and empty, save for the flickering screen showing a horror movie. Inside the theater, they confront Gregory and Fenny Bate. A violent struggle ensues. The creatures possess immense strength and the ability to confuse the minds of their victims. However, the men manage to overpower them. Ricky Hawthorne and Don Wanderley succeed in destroying Gregory and Fenny, hacking them apart until the animating force leaves their bodies. But the primary entity, Anna Mostyn, is still at large. They track her to an apartment in the poor section of town, known as the Hollow. When they burst into the room, they find her in a weakened state. The destruction of her minions has diminished her power. As they watch, she begins to undergo a rapid, grotesque transformation, shifting through her various forms, Eva Galli, Alma Mobley, and others, before dissolving into a repulsive, insect-like creature. Don Wanderley realizes that this creature is a Manitou, a spirit from Native American folklore that feeds on life and can take many shapes. It cannot be killed by conventional means, but it can be forced into a dormant state or driven away. In a final act of desperation, the creature attempts to escape in the form of a wasp. Don manages to trap and wound it, though he cannot fully destroy it. The entity is defeated for now, its physical form shattered. The story ends with a sense of weary relief, but not total victory. The snows melt, and Milburn begins to recover from its nightmare, though the scars remain. The surviving characters are forever changed. Ricky Hawthorne eventually passes away, leaving Don Wanderley as the keeper of the story. In the epilogue, Don is traveling south, haunted by the knowledge that the entity may not be truly dead, merely formless and waiting. He encounters a young girl who displays the same strange, knowing characteristics as the shapeshifter. The novel closes with the chilling implication that the evil is cyclical and may one day return. This concludes our summary of Ghost Story by Peter Straub. Thank you for listening to the Well-Read Monocle. We hope this journey through Milburn has been as chilling for you as it was for us. Until next time.